Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the Bible Study Minute. Today we're taking a look at 1 Samuel chapters 3 and chapter 8. So we're skipping over a few chapters, but we're going to get the gist of what's going on in the in-between chapters by taking a look at this narrative and in this Bible Study Minute. So chapter 3 begins by telling us that this is a time in Israel's history when the word of the Lord was rare and there weren't prophets nor as plenteous as there would be later on in Scripture. So this is kind of a period of time where the word of the Lord was rare and it wasn't as common. And this is setting us up for something. And what we see here is that this is setting us up for Samuel becoming a prophet in Israel during this time. But when we get to chapter 3, verse 7, we see something interesting where it tells us that Samuel did not yet know the Lord. But if we go back, it says that Samuel had been in service to the Lord since his mother had weaned him and dropped him off at the temple, and he had been serving under Eli's supervision. So he knew about the Lord, but he didn't know the Lord. But then if we go back to chapter 2, verse 12, when it's describing Eli's sons, it says that they didn't have regard or respect for the Lord. But a more literal translation of the Hebrew tells us that they did not know the Lord. So we can know things about God and who he is, like just by reading scripture, but we can know things about God without actually knowing who he is. So this is kind of where Samuel is right now in his life. He knows about God from his service, but he does not know God personally. And this is where things change because God calls out to him and speaks to him. And he cries out, God calls out to him 4 times. And it's on the 4th time where Samuel finally says, "Here I am, Lord, speak to me." And from this point forward, he becomes a prophet over the land of Israel, speaking the word of the Lord to the people. And everything that came to him as the word of the Lord came to be. So then we fast forward to chapter 8. And in chapter 8, we see Israel demanding a king. And they're demanding a king because at this point, Samuel is now old. He's no longer a child. And we see that his 2 sons do not know the Lord, and they are not following in the same footsteps as their father. And what we see is that the importance of knowing the Lord and the distinction between knowing about God and actually knowing God. So God is like, you know what? Samuel, listen, they have not rejected you. They've rejected me as their king. And we're just going to do what they say. Listen to the people. And they say they want a king, so we're going to give them a king. And that's what we're going to see in the following chapters. So what do we want to take away from this passage today? We want to take away the importance of actually knowing who God is. Not just knowing about God, but actually knowing God. Because we've seen in Scripture already, just in these first handful of chapters of 1 Samuel, the importance of knowing who God is personally. You can know all about God and it not change your life, but you actually need to have God speak to you and then actually respond to him in such a way that it transforms your life so that you begin to have an intimate and personal relationship with him. So that's what I want to encourage you with today. And don't just pray that for yourself, but pray that for others as well that you love. Because we don't want people to end up like Eli's sons or even Samuel's own sons, where they knew the word of the Lord and the voice of the Lord, but their sons did not know him personally. So this is the heart of discipleship and evangelism, sharing the gospel and raising up people who actually know the Lord. So that's what I want to leave you with today. And until next time, grace and peace.